putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
The president is the master of the deal, right? So he's going to work with people who he thinks he can work with at the current time. But remember, the president's platform was make America great again, not make the GOP great again. And he'll work with anybody. If you don't want to work with him, GOP, remember that dinner with Chuck and Nancy? Mm-hmm. That's a message, right? That's a broadside to the GOP. I got to get things done. You don't want to help me? I'll talk to somebody else.
That was Sebastian Gorka. This is not about making the GOP great again. It was funny. I saw a meme that said something along the lines of Trump, despised by both Democrats and Republicans, which is why he's president. And it's true. The Republicans couldn't stand Donald Trump. They had to deal with him, and he's a huge moneymaker for him. He's a fundraising phenom, probably better than Obama. But the Republicans are going to have to get along with him, or else they're not going to get their funding. It's a delicate balance with how the Republicans have to do what they do in order to, they got to placate Trump to a bit, but they also want to keep their power. And so let me tell you who's going to win in the end. It will be Donald Trump, but it's fun to watch. We can't have any more Republicans. We need conservatives, and we're going to get a whole crew of them in 2018. Trust me on this. But I like what Gorka says that. We are not beholden to the GOP. They've done nothing for us. They do enough to maintain their own power. Pardon me, and they straddle the line in terms of trying to please us. But they're never really looking to please us. They don't act as our representatives. So don't be fooled by them at all. And you start looking at guys like Lindsey Graham, all those women up in the Northeast, Murkowski and people like that. These are people that are they might as well consider themselves leftists. I know Rand Paul just came out recently and said John McCain, for all intents and purposes, why does he call himself a conservative? He's not. I mean, Lindsey Graham. Or maybe it was McCain. But does it really matter? I want to play this clip. And it was John McCain talking about people that voted for Trump. And he used a term that we're going to focus on. I'm going to let you hear it. But he used a term that I think is important. So here's the clip.
We made our own civilization more just, freer, more accomplished, and prosperous than the America that existed when I watched my father go off to war on December 7th, 1941. To fear the world we have organized and led the 3/4 of a century, to abandon the ideals we have advanced around the globe, to refuse the obligations of international leadership and our duty to remain the last best hope of Earth for the sake of some half-baked, spurious nationalism cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems. Is as unpatriotic as an attachment to any other tired dogma of the past that Americans consigned to the ash heap of history. We live in a land made of ideals, not blood and soil. We are the custodians of those ideals at home and their champion abroad. We've done great good in the world. That leadership has had its costs, but we have become incomparably powerful and wealthy as we did. We have a moral obligation to continue in our just cause, and we would bring more than shame on ourselves if we don't. We will not thrive in a world where our leadership and ideals are absent. We wouldn't deserve to.
Welcome back, everybody. That, of course, is John McCain, sounding as feeble as ever. And what do you say about this guy? Look, I'm not sure where that was, because people keep asking me, Kevin, is that clip from, I don't think it was Value Voters Summit. It's almost like it's some leftist group that he's speaking to, because he talks about to abandon the ideals of this country. Who does he believe abandoned the ideals? Barack Obama abandoned America to the point of who recognizes this country after he was done. We're talking about an oppressive regime eavesdropping on citizens. If you watch the movie about Snowden, this is one of the takeaways. We were doing 2 times the amount of surveillance on American citizens' emails as we were Russia. I don't remember all the numbers, but if you added all the surveillance up in the world, we were doing more on inside of America than all the other countries combined. Now, think about what that means. It means the government felt that we were more the enemy than everybody it's spying on. That's what it's telling you. You can know, folks, I promise you, as God is my witness, at the NSA, if you were talking on the phone, sending an email, Snapchatting, whatever, they have your data. If you're anything close to something in this movement, you better know that they have your information. And if somebody wants to get it, if they want to say, oh, Kevin is he's a miscreant and we need to be watching him or whatever, they'll rationalize it. They'll do one of those unmaskings and they'll spy on me and they'll try to discredit me with whatever they do. And I'll go, yep, did that. Nope, didn't do that. And you'll know me well enough to say, I believe him. If I go, I didn't do that, you'll go, he didn't do it. Your only protection is how you live your life. That's it. Everything else is a problem. So, what I'm getting at is if you live your life in such a way that people go, I don't think he would do that, then the government can manipulate. I've said it once, I'll say it again. If I die and they say it was an overdose of this medicine or it was an overdose of heroin or whatever, it is a lie. I was killed. Just the truth. And I tell people I don't do drugs. I barely take medicine. If I take medicine, I want the lowest amount of dosage. I've gotten checked out for it before I use it. I don't have any allergies, you name it. So if I die under suspicious circumstances, oh no, something was up. And I tell people that because, if I were to die with a needle out of my arm, I want you to go, nope, we got to investigate this because that's what the government wants. It wants to be able to manipulate what people think about you. It's like Maximus. Before they can kill you, they must kill your name. Now, I'm doing nothing subversive. I'm a low-level radio talk show guy. I mean, a B-leaguer at best in terms of things. Sure, do people recognize me when I'm out? Absolutely. But outside of that, occasionally happening, I'm a nobody. So, what do you want with me? But don't be surprised. They will make a what do they call it? Example. They'll make an example out of you. I want to pivot back to McCain. So McCain talked about half-baked, spurious nationalism, cooked up by people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems. Again, who's he talking about? I got the impression he's talking about half-baked nationalism of Donald Trump, half-baked nationalism of the people who voted for Trump. This is a dangerous old man who's mad that Donald Trump came out of nowhere and became president, and he didn't. McCain believes the hype. I'm a war hero. I've been a senator forever. People like me on both sides of the aisle. Why am I not sitting in that office? Simple answer. You don't deserve it. He talks about tired dogma. What tired dogma? That make America great again? America first? Is that too tired of a dogma for Mr. McCain? He talked about us being the land of ideals, that our message is the one that should resonate. Then why are we listening to France and Britain and Canada on nationalized health care or on foreign policy? These are people that can't even pay their bills. He talked about, we don't deserve to be a leader in the world if our leadership and our ideals are absent. That's what they've been for 8 years. And John McCain said nothing. I'm going to stop Obamacare, and he didn't do it. Then he gets the chance to do it, and he votes against it. This is a guy who is full of himself. It's horrible that we're even having a discussion about this knucklehead. He shouldn't be in the Senate. He's diminished. He's got diminished capacity, but people still think he's relevant. Well, he's not. Trust me.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.